Hey guys, how are we? Just in a little coffee shop here in the heart of Athens this morning, so just thought I'd shoot a quick video, a bit of an update. So a lot's happening here in regards to the interest rates. So Australia's interest rates have been put up by the Reserve Bank of Australia, which is what I said would happen a couple of months back. And they've also started to be put up in the US as well. That's significant because probably about 86% of Australian mortgage funds come from the international money market. That basically means that the big four banks in Australia and the other banks don't get most of their funding from the RBA, the Reserve Bank of Australia. They get most of their funding from the international money market. Now, if the US puts its interest rates up, that means that the Australian banks are going to have to put their interest rates up as well. And so what's happened over the last couple of years is that the Reserve Bank of Australia has become a very oblique instrument in regards to managing the Australian economy. Now, I will give you some other sort of figures and indicators. As much as the official cash rate has gone up, the real thing that you need to be aware of is the inflation. Now, the International Monetary Fund and there's other economic bodies and monetary bodies that basically say that interest rates should be about 1 to 2% above the official inflation rate. Now, in the US, it's almost double digits. In Australia, they're saying it's about 5.6% inflation. So that means that by this time next year, you're probably going to see interest rates in Australia around 5.5%, 6%, maybe 7%, and probably higher in the US. And there's a couple of factors on that. As I said, the cost of borrowing money on the short-term and long-term money market is going to go up because the US interest rates are going to go up. The US currency is going to gain in strength. And that's because people look at the US currency as a bit of a safe haven. The other thing that you're going to see is a lot of properties foreclosed on in Australia, and that's because once these interest rates go up, you're going to see a lot of people, a lot of people are highly leveraged. They've used the equity in the first and second property to buy the third property and the fourth, etc. And I said that in a previous video. I know that other people have basically said that in the US they have fixed interest rates, and they do have fixed interest rates in Australia as well. But if you're looking to sell a property, you're probably going to be stuck with a property where the mortgage debt is a lot higher than the actual ticket value on the property, the value of the property. So that's what's coming. It's going to be a massive correction, and that's purely, you can blame your government for that, because inflation is the cause of governments. It's got nothing to do with supply chains and got nothing to do with anything else. They have printed far too much money than what is actually required, and you saw the same thing in the French Revolution. So this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm just saying this is my thoughts. This is where I think things are going. And when everything else here starts to implode, you're going to see the war rhetoric ramp up, and that's what we're seeing in Russia at the moment, Ukraine and Russia. This is not so much a proxy war anymore. This is going to be an all-out war. And particularly now that the US has officially even declared that they're helping Ukrainians to target Russian generals and execute them and whatever. You're going to see a lot of these things ramp up into a very unstable geopolitical environment that's going to significantly affect the global economy and further affect the supply chains. You're seeing things happen in China at the moment with them locked down their cities, and they're saying, they've got 3 cases of COVID. This is just rubbish. This is about China committing economic warfare against the West. So China's in a bit of a funny situation at the moment. They have major instability. Now the lockdowns are because of one or two reasons, in my opinion. It's economic warfare. Plus, I think that Xi is actually in the process of locking down these cities or these populaces to take out his political opponents. And I think that's what you're seeing at the moment, is a purge. But as much as a lot of that information is being prevented from leaking out because of the lockdowns, a lot of these people are unable to move. So I think that's what's happening. You're seeing a political purge in China. The other thing that is noteworthy is that the Chinese banks, Reserve Bank in particular, and their officials have been reportedly going around trying to shore up support from big banking components of the SWIFT banking system, and getting a guarantee that that in the event that the US tries to put sanctions on them, similar to what the US has done to Russia, that they won't be subject to them, and it's not boding well for them. So a lot of the extrapolation of that has basically been that China is trying to shore up support before it tries to take over Taiwan, and I think that's always been on the cards. So as I said, a lot of geopolitical instability at the moment, a lot of economic stability, and a lot of supply chain instability, and a lot of food supply instability. So that's the other big thing that people are not, taking into account. So none of it's really great, and somebody said last time on a previous video, well, have you got any good news? Well, no, that's just the season that we're in. The Bitcoin market's sort of been hit overnight. I mean, even I got caught up in that. So, 50 to 60 down at the moment. But I think hopefully it will bounce back. We're just seeing a bit of a correction at the moment, and that's life. So just be mindful of this, because this is going to compound over time, not only with economic woes and financial woes, but with also the geopolitical and war woes. As I said in a previous video, the time is running out if you're wanting to relocate. I mean, we're still stuck here in Athens at the moment. Our property is just waiting for the notaries to go back to work. Apparently they went back on the 5th, and now we're waiting for one piece of documentation before we can settle the property. So I'm hoping that occurs in the next 2 weeks, but this has been going on for 4 months now, so it's really dragging on. But we'll head off to Thailand, and as I said in a previous video, really what you want to be is in a location during these times where it's not going to chew up your finances, not going to chew up the reserves. So being in a place that is very cost effective is the wiser thing to do. Anyway, I'm going to leave that there. If I do come across anything else, I will sort of do another video. I've been a bit preoccupied doing other things at this point in time, but do love the comments and the emails, and there's a few of you that have sent me emails, and I just haven't had time to get back to them on the immediacy because of the preoccupation with other things. But I am working on things. We're actually looking at launching another platform for you to contribute on and join discussions and collaborate on. So just give me some time to get that together. It's going to probably take another couple of weeks or a month or two to get that together, but we are working on that, and we basically will own the servers, so you'll be able to make sure your data is safe and secure. We were going to go with Web 3.0, but I think it's going to leave things to be a little bit too complicated, and I want to remove that technical barrier to entry. So we may do something along the Web 3.0 cryptocurrency blockchain route later on, but for now I think we'll just do the traditional Web 2.0 and just chat rooms and that sort of stuff. So yeah, anyway guys, if you haven't joined the Overseas Exiles discussion on Facebook, go on over there and join up. And yeah, certainly love the feedback, love the emails and the comments, so continue to do that. And if you haven't liked and subscribed, then do that, and we'll certainly produce more content. Once I get to Thailand, I'm going to have a whole lot more time on my hands, so it's going to be a different situation, but it's all battle systems go at the moment, so it's a little bit difficult. Anyway guys, cheers from Athens, and we'll chat with you soon.